Donald Trump revamping his campaign. Some people are asking, is it too little too late? Trump 2.0 comes as the GOP frontrunner decides to skip Colorado's GOP convention this weekend. The Ted Cruz campaign saying that the senator has picked up 15 delegates in that state so far. Thinks by the time the weekend is over, he'll get them all. Trump will get 0. Joining me now, Hipp is back, along with Gina Loudon and Christopher Bedford. Christopher Bedford, set us up here. Help the audience understand that so far, behind the scenes, Ted Cruz has done extraordinarily well at gaining delegates that he did not win during the primaries or caucuses.
So Ted Cruz has a lot of people on his staff who are campaign veterans. They're conservative fighters. And a lot of conservatives on the Hill and on campaigns are used to having to fight these backroom deals because typically they're vastly outnumbered in the GOP. Cruz has really capitalized this, whereas Trump, for example, as a little bit of an outsider and as someone who's higher, his whole campaign has really just been driven by his personality, by who he is, by recognition. He hasn't devoted any resources until very recently to trying to win these backroom deals and these Colorado, like, for example, the Colorado caucuses, things which get very complicated, and Cruz is really starting to gain on him in that.
Yeah, Gina, I read where like the slate of potential delegates that Donald Trump won in Colorado, some hadn't even paid fees, like basic fees. You've gone through this process. You know it's grueling. You know it takes a lot of time and money and energy. And now it looks like perhaps Donald Trump is going to be committed to that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he absolutely has to get a grip on his ground game. But this is the interesting thing about Donald Trump. He's never played, as you know, Charles, by the consultant's rules. And he doesn't try to make a door out of a wall. He knows that a lot of these states, and Colorado's a great example, where the establishment is going to control the delegates that come out of it. First of all, it's not that many delegates. Let's just get that out of the way. But it's not that Colorado doesn't matter. It does matter. And I'm sure he would like to have those delegates. But the reality is, Charles, that Donald Trump is never going to get the blessing of the establishment in the party. He knows that, so why would he be batting his head against a wall trying to do that? He's looking elsewhere. Well,
but here's the thing, though, Van. He's got to get these delegates, okay? And you know, you may be able to rewrite the rules of popularity and $2 billion in free TV and you know, and having this fresh face and all of these things, but the backroom deals are still the backroom deals. And initially, he talked about filing lawsuits and things like that. Now he's doing the things that it takes. He's bringing on experience management, and he's going to unleash him. I guess the question, though, is has Ted Cruz gotten a bigger lead on him with the backroom dealings?
We're going to find out. And I think while he's got to win New York big to get that momentum back, I think bringing on Paul Manafort, who counted delegates for Gerald Ford in '76 and Reagan in '80, Lee Atwater's business partner, having him as your convention manager was a good move. Should have been done a long time ago. And we saw last weekend in North Dakota the brilliance of some of Manafort's people. They were headed to disaster. A pro-Cruz resolution was voted down, and Kevin Cramer, the at-large congressman, endorsed Trump at the North Dakota Convention of Fargo. So that's a seasoned veteran professional. Should have had someone like that on a long time. But, Charles, I'll tell you this. After California, if nobody's got 1237, look for someone. I look for Cruz and Trump to both take a page out of Ronald Reagan's playbook, the Schweiker factor. Remember when Reagan picked liberal Republican Senator Richard Schweiker to try to close that gap? It almost worked against Gerald Ford. Look for Cruz and Trump to name their vice presidential nominee before the convention.
And I got a feeling a guy named John Kasich is going to be waving his hand at both campaigns like, me. Hey, you know what? Rubio may have more delegates. All right, guys, let's leave it right there. Coming up next, Sheriff